Ryan and I are here today to talk to you a little bit about what it's like to live in Delaware. A lot of people ask us that. We actually have a podcast based on Delaware, W-H-E-R-E, that you can listen to. But we really want to describe for people moving here, especially people moving here from larger areas, which is pretty much everywhere, what it's like to live in Delaware and the change that you may experience when you're here, because we hear a lot about it from our clients, right, Ryan?
Yeah, and we have two completely different perspectives because you didn't grow up here. I grew up here. We moved here when I was 9. So I've been here, 16 years now, and I know what it was like to go to the elementary school, the middle school, the high school, work at the beach, all of that. But you knew it from a work perspective, which
Right.
is quite a bit different.
Absolutely. And I actually grew up in northern Delaware, which everybody says Delaware is so small. It is, but it's very different. So you live in northern Delaware and you have a hustle and bustle outside of Philly mentality. It's more like living in a city. And then you have lower Delaware, anything below the canal, and it's slower. It's a slower pace. You almost move from the north to the south. It's more of a southern hospitality down here, lots of waving, a little slower pace, whereas north is like high traffic, super
Go,
fast
go, go,
traffic.
all the time.
Go. Exactly. Keep up with the Joneses. So I feel like that's a big misnomer about the size of Delaware, because there's two very different personalities in Delaware. So southern Delaware, where we are, Sussex County, we have found it to be truly amazing. But one of the things that we love to explain to people is you really have to embrace the pace. So this is a slower pace. They call it slower, lower for a reason. And it's not because there's any issues down here, except for people like to surf and people like to fish and people actually take time to smell the roses during their daily life.
Yeah, it's just slower to get things done, where if you're in the big cities, it always seems like it's you ask for something, it's done immediately. Whereas here, it's, maybe it's going to take a little while. Maybe it's going to be the end of the week or it's going to be next week, but you just have to give them some time. There's nothing wrong with it. It takes a little bit more time around here to get things done.
Well, and one of the things that we've noticed with our clients is they move here and they're so excited about the peacefulness and it's, they're going to live near the beach, and then the frustration sets in, right? Because they're not used to having to wait for something. They're used to having more contractors available. They're used to having maybe doctors that are more available, because we do have wait times for doctors down here and things like that. But once they get used to it and embrace, it becomes more of a way of life. But some people don't want that. Some people really want the hustle and bustle.
Yeah, and a lot of times we have a lot of clients that are looking to retire here. And we wanted to talk a little bit about what that looks like and whether or not you should do it. Coming down here, everybody comes down in the summer. Summer is completely different than it is in the off season.
Yep.
So it slows down quite a bit in the off season. It's not what it used to be. When I first moved here, I was a kid and the winters were dead. There was nothing going on.
Everything closed.
Yeah. And now, really when COVID happened and people really started moving here, a lot of people were able to work from home. So they sold their houses in the big metros like Philly, DC, Baltimore, and moved here because they could work from home. So why would you want to work in the city and you can work, at the beach?
And walk on the beach in the afternoon.
And a lot of our clients then had kids that were moving down.
Yep.
And so it was quite a bit different for them as well. Just moving here, they needed to figure out if they really liked the area. One of the things that we recommend is coming down in the off season, not just the summer, because the summer is so much different here.
Try all the seasons.
Right. Yeah. And just check it out. See if you like it. We love it here in the winter. Our fall is really our favorite season here because everything's still open. Beaches are still warm. Water's still warm. So that's really our favorite time. But I didn't have the experience of raising kids here. So
I raised you here. But raising kids here was great. And one of the things, if you're a family moving to the area, some of the things that really made it special were really having the Mayberry type effect, where everybody knows everybody, which some people find intrusive, but it's actually very comforting because it's a protective system in this area. I feel like every time Ryan was downtown, he was going to go to work, and he may have been 14. Well, he was 14 when he got his first job down at Fisher's Popcorn. But other adults would let me know where he was. Like, hey, I saw your son today. He's down on the beach. He's with his friends. But I felt so safe because you knew everybody pretty much in town, Bethany, and they all watched out for everybody. And the kids watch out for each other, which is even a cooler thing. But the other thing I truly loved about raising kids here is the local kids that are raised here are kind of expected to work at an early age because our local economy really depends on them So they are welcome to get jobs at 14 years old, and they have a great lifestyle because a lot of the jobs are near the beach. So then they can just walk and hang out with their friends. So it's really nice because it brings a work ethic to the kids. They're not necessarily going to all the camps and doing all the other things, but having that work ethic. I mean, there was a time when you were 16, you were working like 3 jobs before you got into real estate.
And honestly, we didn't go to the camps and everything, but there was the beach right here. So
right, it's your own camp.
Our hours were 9 to 4. So I would go in to the beach at whatever time you went into work. So if you needed to be there at 7:30, I'd be at the beach at 7:30. I'd be at the beach until we went to work, go to work the day, and then I'd be at the beach until you were off of work and you could
It's called
pick me
surfing
up.
camp.
Yeah, exactly. But that's a great experience as a kid.
Yeah.
And the other thing is when you grow up here, you do get to know a lot of the managers and the owners of these smaller stores. And so when everybody leaves for the summer, so there's a lot of kids that come down for the summer and they all have jobs too. But when they leave, a lot of times it's mid-August.
Yep.
So these stores are still busy, so they still need workers. And then in the off season now, I know when I started to basically finish up working down at the beach, the off seasons were getting a lot busier.
Right.
And so even, during school, I would still go into work. So if we were open, a lot of times it was just like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But after school, Thursday and Friday, I would still go into work because they needed some help. So
it's a good way to stay employed, make some money during the year.
Yeah.
And work-life balance is something that you've accomplished quite well. I mean, your time blocking is amazing. I know that as his mother and his real estate team leader. But he's really good at time blocking and probably comes from those experiences.
Yeah, I would think so. Because like you said, at times there were 3 jobs that we were balancing. You work in the morning and then you work at night at a restaurant, or, vice versa. You work at prep and then you work at night. But it keeps you busy. And you're at the beach and I don't think you could beat it.
Well, and work-wise here, some people look for jobs. We do have some major industries. Obviously, the chicken industry is big here, Mount Air Farms, and that is huge here. And then, of course, we have lots of education, lots of hospitality.
And healthcare is growing.
And healthcare is
quickly.
growing. Yes.
BB is, they've been here for a long time, but we have a lot of different networks moving in here. We have, I think, Title Health is moving over to Millsboro.
Yep.
Bay Health started in Kent County. They've moved down to Milford, and now they're moving further into Sussex.
And Christianacare is actually moving down from the Newark area. That's probably the best known one in northern Delaware that people were traveling to. Because that's a big concern, too, when you move here, not just work and life balance, but the medical care. That's been kind of in the news in the past, where we don't have as solid medical care as some other areas. And so I think we need to address that, and that has been addressed. They are coming in. You still have wait times for doctors, and some people still keep their specialists out of town. But I think it's become a lot better. I mean, just a few years ago, we couldn't find a dentist because all the dentists were full, and we had left ours for some reason. And now there's dentists everywhere publicizing that they have, availability. So while I think it's still a little slow around here, and you may want to keep your specialists out of town when you move here, they are coming in, and the healthcare quality has skyrocketed. We are getting much better reviews down here from the BB healthcare system. We've gone to AGH, which is now they were bought. Are they Title? Are they Title Health now? But AGH used to be Atlantic General Hospital down in Berlin. They have a great reputation.
But it's been advancing quickly because we've had so many people retiring here that it was becoming an issue. And so larger hospitals are coming into the area and moving their networks.
So there's definitely recruiting. If you're a doctor or a nurse, you should definitely come to Sussex County. We need you. Yeah. There's plenty of employment here.
But it's a big emotional shift moving down here too. We talked a lot about basically the hustle and bustle of DC, Baltimore, Philly, Wilmington. All of those areas are always go, go, go. And then moving down here, it may feel like it's a big step back. I've had people come from Staten Island one time, and they came around here and they were like, "We are in the middle of nowhere," and I'm like, "Actually, we're in town."
This is in town.
But a lot of times feel. It's not. Yeah, it's not always the best fit for people. But like we were talking about, if this is something you're really thinking about doing, definitely come and visit us in the summer. I mean, that's obviously our best season, and
Yeah.
Everybody complains about the tourism here, but I love it.
Yeah.
You love it. It's why our business does well. And it's, growing up working at Fisher's Popcorn, most people listening probably know what Fisher's Popcorn is.
Exactly.
So it's a great lifestyle, but don't just come in the summer. Come in the fall, check it out in the fall. Take a look at the beaches. They're not nearly as packed. Every place is still really open in September and October. Some places will close in the winter, but there's still a lot of good restaurants open, still
Absolutely.
a lot of good places to go.
And we've talked on our podcast about the amazing culinary experiences you can have here. And a lot of it's because there's so many entrepreneurs here and so many, obviously, we have lots of fresh fish and lots of farmland. So that feeds great farm to table restaurants around here. Very niche restaurants, like not the big, well, if you're on the major highways, we have some big regular chains, but the culinary experience around here is excellent. And one of the reasons we started our podcast is because people that have come from the metropolitan areas don't know where to look as to where to do things. And all of the neat, eclectic opportunities we have here, whether it be local artists, local performers. Actually, we're bringing in national performers now to this area. So our podcast really highlights a lot of the amazing things you can do. So if you are bored in Sussex County, you actually have to try to be bored, but you are going to have to get used to looking for things instead of them just being on your doorstep.
Yeah, and listen to our podcast. You'll get a lot of great ideas from there. I think the issue that people run into here is they're looking in one spot for stuff, and we're actually pretty spread out. We have a large county, and we're spread out from Milton to Rehoboth to Ocean View to Frankfurt, Selbyville, and then you have Ocean City too, which is a whole other ballpark over there.
And Ryan brought up the point of, whether this place would be a great spot for you. So one of the things that we like to talk about too is airports, right? We don't really have a major airport here. Salisbury flies to Charlotte and Philly. And then you can connect to, larger flights. It's a little bit more expensive sometimes, but extremely convenient and very friendly. And then Avello up in Newark area, they call it a Wilmington airport, but it's really more Newark. They have a great little system where they go to some of the smaller airports, which is great. Lots of Florida flights. But if you do a lot of business traveling, you really want to look into our airports because we are 2 hours and 15 minutes from both Baltimore and Philadelphia.
And then
from Bethany, if you're in Bethany area. If you're in Lewis, obviously you're a little closer to Philadelphia.
Yeah, and the D.C. airports are about 2.5 hours, 3 hours. We don't go there as much. And then there's Newark, New Jersey, which is another airport that's a little bit further too.
Just don't do what I did, park next to the airport.
It gets a little expensive.
I got a $500 parking bill. Because I didn't know that big cities charge big dollars. So I think it's something you definitely need to look into. And the other thing is shopping. So somebody just asked me the other day, where's your mall? I was like, well,
2 hours away.
We kind of have a Salisbury mall, but it's not very big. And we kind of have a mall in Dover. I'm not even sure if that one's still open.
I don't know if it's open anymore. But Christiana is really the closest. And then from there, you have King of Prussia up in Philly. But here, it's the outlets.
Yep.
We have outlets in Rehoboth, and we have outlets in West Ocean City.
And they're great outlets.
Yeah.
The only problem we ever have is if you're looking for something really specific. Like if you have to go get a white dress for an occasion or something, well, you wouldn't need that. But white shoes maybe for you. Yeah. That's where you just use your Amazon friends. And Amazon has very quick delivery. We've actually had same-day delivery start here, which is... See, we're coming out of the back ages. But
it's definitely something to explore. If you're looking to move here, check us out in all seasons. We'd really love to have you down here, and we're happy to take you around. If you need any advice on where to go, listen to our podcast. We have plenty of spots on there. Lots of great restaurants to check out. But thank you for listening. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
Christine,
we look forward to talking to you soon.